Good afternoon. Today I will tell you 20 strange facts about Germans and Germany. What can even a close German acquaintance surprise you with? What unusual cultural features are there in Germany? What should you try to get used to if you come to live in a German town? I will tell you about all of this today. If you learn German, sooner or later you will have the desire to communicate with German speakers. Every nation has its own special quirks, and the Germans have enough of them. In order for you to avoid embarrassing moments when communicating with people from Germany, I've prepared a list of strange facts about Germany and its inhabitants. Let's go!
Supersonic.
Fact 1. You weren't expecting us, but we came. Such a phenomenon as going to visit friends or relatives without a special reason in Germany can be seen rarely. If Germans meet somewhere, it is more likely in a restaurant or cafe. They may take a walk together in the park, cross paths somewhere in town, but going to each other's house without a certain reason is not customary. By the way, they rarely cook at home. They usually eat in public places, have lunch at work, or order food at home. Of course, I cannot say that all Germans behave in this way, but it is not uncommon for native Germans. Fact 2. The bill in a restaurant. If you were asked out on a date in Germany, or if you in turn invited a German girl to a restaurant, you must know, it can turn out that everyone will pay for himself. Yes, this is no joke, be prepared. The German man often will not pay for the lady, but the German girl in turn will not be offended at all and probably will even consider it a compliment. This is such a peculiar struggle, or rather the result of the struggle for the independence of women. In addition, most men and women in marriage in Germany have separate accounts. Each family has 2 separate accounts and each spouse spends his or her money as he or she sees fit. So a Russian girl or Russian man will have to get used to this style of relationship. Fact 3. Fishing rights. Fishing in Germany is another thing that causes surprised eyes of visitors, including Russians. In order to be able to catch fish, you must first take special courses. There you will be taught the finer points of the fishing business, after which you get a fish license. But that is not all. In many states of Germany all waters are private, and in order to get a fishing permit you have to join a fishing society and pay a regular fee. The 4th fact. If you believe in God, pay the tax. Yes, and that is no joke either. In Germany, everyone who considers himself a believer pays a church tax every month, which is collected together with the income tax. Germans register their belonging to a particular religious organization or lack thereof at the passport office at the place of residence, and the amount of tax does not exceed 2 to 3% of their income. Fact 5. When do I use the word you? It does not matter whether it is your neighbor, colleague, friend or professor. In Germany it is very common to speak with your first name as soon as you get to know each other. Even if you are 30 years apart in age, you may hear people address each other this way. It is not considered impolite at all, it is common practice. But again, you should not immediately poke all your German professors at the university, bosses and elderly neighbors. First it is necessary to understand whether they themselves accept such behavior. As a rule, the person himself makes it clear by some phrase. For example, you can safely say you, fact of the matter. Meeting by appointment. Germans are people who plan ahead almost every step. The fact that they plan future vacations a year in advance can be somehow explained. But the big amazement of foreigners is the fact that it is simply impossible to meet and sit in a cafe with friends without making a term beforehand, because every hour is planned in the truest sense of the word, and spontaneous ideas do not inspire the German people. Fact of the matter. Blowing one's nose loudly is the norm. Sniffing, softly but continually, is an indecent thing in Germany which can incur a reprimand, but blowing one's nose loudly is the norm. Whether it's a professor doing it in front of the microphone during a lecture or a girl sitting next to you in the train, they won't understand your indignation or astonishment about it, so don't even try. Fact 8. It's always better in the morning. Especially in Germany. Germans go to bed early and get up very early, so that at 10 p.m. almost all houses already have lights out. Many schoolchildren are put to bed at 7 p.m. Rarely do you see adults staying up late in front of the television or computer. But there is a reason. Because in Germany, in many organizations, the workday begins very, very early, sometimes even at 5 a.m. Germans always go to bed on time so that they can get a good night's sleep and be productive. Fact 9. Appearance is not the main thing. That is the opinion of German girls and women, who sometimes it is not easy to distinguish from men, incidentally, most likely because of this and appeared the stereotype of ugly German women, because they do not try to seem much more beautiful than they really are. Yes, looking at their appearance, sometimes it seems that they put on the first thing that fell out of the closet, but in fact, they just do not dwell on their outfit. German girls rarely wear makeup, romantic dresses or stilettos. They don't like to put on makeup, they like comfort in their clothes and shoes. The favorite shoes of the German girls are sneakers and boots. The 10th fact. Germans, snitches. If you think this is a joke, I'm going to disappoint you. The people of Germany are very sensitive to the observance of laws and rights in the country. At the slightest violation of the law they report to the authorities, so be careful. A word of caution: if a child cries loudly in your apartment and the neighbors hear it, do not be surprised that social services will knock on your door after a while and ask you if you are punishing your child, which is also against the law in Germany. And if you accidentally threw a piece of paper in the trash can for plastic in front of your German neighbor, then stock up on Urix and wait for a fine from the appropriate service. Even if your neighbor smiled at you nice, do not doubt, he has already reported you to the appropriate O. This is the end of the first part. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and like it. Have a good evening everyone, see you soon.